So yeah, pretty much yes. Since we played it, I mean, I don't think there's any legal consequence. I mean, there might be, but we played it. And what was stated according to the Texas Lotto webpage is that since the 1992, there's been about $32 billion in revenue from the lottos, from the scratch tickets, and pretty much like the what is it, the Mega Million,
Mega Million,
and all the Pick Three, all those things, which has helped the education system provide funding for the schools and also for the veterans and other Texas programs, which is helping the community out. And also, there's other legal forms of gambling inside the state of Texas. Do you know any more?
Horse races.
Horse races are some. There are legal horse races events. Where people go and race horses and gamble on which one will be the fastest.
Yeah.
We've never been to any of those.
No.
It'd be pretty cool to go one of those. I feel like, yeah. Also, greyhound races. When they race the dogs. There's also some legal events those inside the state of Texas. Also, charitable bingos. We haven't gone to bingos. I feel like that's mainly for like older people.
More of a loteria man myself.
Yeah, loteria. We play that. That's kind of gambling too, but it's not really like a public form. Mm-hmm. It's more like a Mexican tradition type of thing. Yeah, and also there's our 3 Native American casino reservations here inside mm-hmm. Texas too, which they're built on Native American reservations, which allows them to function. If they weren't, they wouldn't have been allowed.
Yeah. What about sweepstakes?
Sweepstakes.
Like when you buy a bag of chips and you be like, enter this into the website, you got a chance to win. Like the Danimals one with the Zach and Cody, you be like, you go on the cruise with Zach and Cody from the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Oh yeah, those are legal too, because like the McDonald's one, like the Monopoly, where you buy the food. There's always the like the chance you can do like a not pay to participate. No, even in the.
You can just ask for a cup.
Yeah. There's always a way you can enter it for free. You can just not win or something. It's not a pay to win thing.
Yeah. Oh, what's it called? Like a while ago, Chipotle did like a little thing where like guess the numbers and you'll get like $10,000 in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah. So you'll get like free burritos.
There's several there's different forms of gambling that are permitted, but what we're really focusing on is casinos and resorts, such as like the World Star Casino in Oklahoma. WinStar, yeah, and the casinos in like Nevada.
Mm-hmm. Don't they got casinos on cruises, right?
And cruises too.
Yeah.
Those are allowed because they're like
international
waters. Yeah. So pretty much. There's pretty much all the forms of gambling that are legal inside the state of Texas.
I mean, you go to like a couple gas stations. There's also some like slot machines.
Oh, slot machines too, but they're pretty much on like a legal limbo.
Yeah, legal limbo. You can only have a certain amount, mm-hmm. and you can only give store credit, mm-hmm. type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, those can be suspicious because
because you see some people getting cash and
yeah. I remember seeing on the news that some of them got like raided by the police. Yeah, those are lucrative too. I know they make a lot of money off of those. Yeah. But now back on track. So like I said, that the Texas Lotto generated over $32 billion in revenue, which is a lot of money. Like it's going for a good thing too. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it's one thing is they're making a lot of money. It's pretty much going back to them. But the good thing is that it's like state operated. It's going back to things that benefit us, like the education and the service for veterans. Mm-hmm. Yep. Also, while researching, I noticed, and it's pretty common knowledge too. I feel like that people who are in other states where gambling isn't illegal, they'll typically go into states like Oklahoma or Nevada where gambling is permitted, and pretty much spend their money there, and that's pretty much lost revenue for the state that could be coming in, but it's going out to other states.
Well, apparently, like Nevada doesn't have gambling laws. Only Las Vegas is like pro gambling. Apparently, like anywhere outside of Las Vegas is.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much because it's on an Indian reservation. Yeah. That's why. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's reason there are gambling casinos is because since they are built on Native American reservations. The U.S. government doesn't have much of a say. On that, but they are lucrative. They do make a lot of money, mm-hmm. which is money that could be brought back in to the state. And furthermore, uh, we have personal experience. You know, we've been to casinos. My brother Esteban, he wasn't able to play since he's a minor, but recently
I have to stand there, just look at them.
Yeah, we went like, what was it, like 2 years ago?
A year ago.
Okay, like a year and a half ago with our parents. And back then I was below the age of 18, so we wasn't able to play either.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to which one was it?
The WinStar.
WinStar in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
it's a big building.
Yeah,
it's a
big
really
building.
big
You got
building.
the whole world in there.
Yeah, the whole world. I don't know if you went, Professor Brotherton, but it's just really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
We should go one day.
Big old oval.
Yeah, big old oval, yeah. But yeah, I remember going, there's a lot of people there, it's packed. And you can only imagine how much money they generate.
They had like a bunch of sounds going off. But I had to sit in the IHOP the whole time because they couldn't play.
Yeah, but recently I went, and then you see, there's a chance you can win, but it's gonna make more money than it spends on, you know.
Yeah, not for the stingy.
Yeah. So that's pretty much contributing to, like, what I'm saying is the casinos generate a lot of money, which can help the government, or the state government of Texas, and also based on the tax information released by Nevada, it's stated that they generated about $1.4 billion in revenue off the casinos and the hotels.
A year, yeah.
A year. A lot of money, yeah. And those the taxes that are brought up from those, they help reduce the income tax and the property taxes within the state as well. In Nevada, they have a relatively low property tax compared to other states.
But like, what about like places near the casinos? Do those have high property taxes?
They're relatively low compared to other states. This is the taxes brought in from the casinos helps reduce the taxes, you know, on the other people nearby, because even here right now our property taxes went up crazy.
Yeah.
Texas has one of the highest property taxes rates. So imagine we bring a casino in, it's going to help decrease the amount of taxes that, you know,
more people coming in.
Yeah, average residents, citizens in this state, they'll have to pay less in property taxes, which will benefit, you know, the amount of money going out, you know, because if you have more people spending money on taxes, that's less money they have to, you know, spend on other things.
Yeah, put one in West Texas. West Texas is kind of underdeveloped compared to the north and east. Yeah,
and plus we have a lot of space. You know, Texas is a big state. You have a lot of room, a lot of land. You can build. You know, it's not like a
occupied.
Yes,
not as occupied as New York or California.
That's the thing. Yeah, we don't have the issue like there's not enough land to build a casino. We have the land, the resources to build it. It's just pretty much the legality of it. It's not legal. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much the amount of money that the casinos are making in other places is a good amount of money. You have any?
No, I'm just
comments
saying.
To add right now?
No, I'm just saying that it would be nice if we had some casinos. Drive instead of driving a couple hours, just drive like 30 minutes. Would be
that too. You want to have more people coming in from out of other states.
Yeah,
bring them in here. And keep the people who go out of states, keep them inside of here too. Keep the money within the
instead of spending all that money on gas, going to Oklahoma, spend the money here, gas in here.
Yeah, pretty much bring more attractions. You know, more
investors.
Yeah, tourism. Yeah, the amount of money. You know, not directly involved with the gambling, even the construction of it will generate money.
Yeah,
great jobs for here. You know, the upkeeping of it, maintenance. Yeah. Yes, the more jobs for the
employees.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's not just the taxes collected on. It's the creation of jobs,
the influence on the community.
I mean, that might have a negative connotation. Yeah. Influence. The gambling addiction is a problem that you know it relates to the creation of casinos. But I feel that
there's also the question of gentrification of the surrounding properties.
Gentrification. And that's a good topic. But I feel that gentrification shouldn't be an issue, since the amount of land we have in Texas, it can be built out, you know, towards the outside of the cities, further out. It doesn't have to be near like a town, so that can also affect the question, because a lot of people their main concerns with casinos is that they bring in a lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic, but the thing is that we can build them outside of the cities, you know, towards rural land, which will defer traffic from inside the city. You know, it's kind of, you know, you have to be smart when you develop.
A big old roundabout around the casino.
So yeah, pretty much. After doing some research, I realized that I learned that there's a Las Vegas company, the Las Vegas Sands. Mm-hmm. They right now they're spending millions of dollars on campaigns, you know, to encourage, you know, the building of casinos inside of the state of Texas, which is happened like in April 12th. So it's recently. So there is a movement, you know, trying to encourage the state to
not only someone trying to enjoy on that.
But yeah, they spend millions, you know, and they also lobby. You know, they have to lobby with the government, you know, with the Texas Senate and then the House of Representatives, you know, because they're the ones who have to create the laws, and then the governor passes those laws.
I mean, but that also raises some concerns about the morality of who's paying and the stuff. Because think about it, the average American won't be able to just pay to send in a bunch of money so they can pass some laws. So it's also an ethical dilemma right there. Should they take the money and build the casinos, or should they continue with the wants of the average citizen of Texas?
Yeah, so that's a good point. I feel that if there was casino, there should be, you know, like voting based.
Yeah, voting. I mean, when you vote, most people, there's amendments and stuff like that, bills that one can vote. So it should be up to the people to vote.
Yeah. Because it will affect a small city, like a small town.
Yeah, small town.
It will drastically change the
demographics.
Demographics. Yeah, it's also like a social thing. But what relates, you know, to the government, it's pretty much, you know, if they want to make it legal or not, and pretty much, you know, the lobbyists of the casinos, they want to, you know, try and convince the government to allow them to build it. But also the government has to, you know, think about like the influence it will have, you know, like you said, on the area, and then on the social impact, you know, like gambling addiction. The crime rate is also a thing that the government will probably consider, because you know, well, when it comes to casinos, there is a slight increase in crime related to it, because, you know,
the Sin City type of lifestyle in Las Vegas, especially.
Yeah, something like that. And so it's a lot of things you gotta like think about when it comes to creation of the casinos. So let's see the benefits. We discussed, you know, the money you can make. Yeah, pretty much that's one of the main, you know, benefits of casinos. And the money. Money can go something, you know, like how the lotto spends a lot of their money in like the education. Money can go back into education, infrastructure, and pretty much the creation of jobs.
More infrastructure in lesser developed parts of Texas.
Yes, increased tourism too. Like we're talking about earlier, like how it's indirectly, you know, it's gonna bring more stores near it.
Yeah, more stores,
more houses,
Rodeo Drive type of thing.
Yeah, more houses.
Las Vegas Strip.
More houses, more jobs, more.
But the thing is, thinking of Las Vegas, you see how much energy they consume with all them lights. It's kind of like Disneyland. Disneyland doesn't turn off their lights for a whole year. Like, they haven't turned them off. They turned them off, I think, when the pandemic started, when they closed down, because it's a lot more. It's expensive more to keep them on than to turn them off. It's like cost less to keep them on.
So yeah, I feel like when it comes to the energy wise, I feel like that's up to the casino itself to pay off the bills, and it shouldn't be a state issue. But the electricity is a good topic because, you know, how recently how Texas grid is separate from the other states. So if, you know, it consumes a lot of electricity and it runs out the infrastructure in order, it might affect the electricity, you know, throughout the whole state.
That also brings up the question about the amount of energy being consumed. We're gonna need more fossil fuels, more stuff, so it's gonna be more carbon going into the atmosphere. So that also brings up concern about climate change caused by these casinos.
That's a good point. There will be increase of energy, you know, consumption.
So we're gonna have to, unless the casinos apply themselves to use renewable energy such as solar panels on top of their building, so wind mills over outside pouring into the casino, then Yeah, it should be focused onto the environment as well.
Because that's a big thing right now. Instead of taxing, the consumption of energy, we're trying to keep the emissions down. We're trying to prevent global warming and then other things.
Yeah, I read somewhere that the Earth actually tilted off of its normal axis. Yeah, so it's leaning more than it was before.
So that's a concern, yeah. But I feel like if it's just one casino, I don't think it might be like a big old impact.
Yeah, but over the years, we're gonna want to build more, bring more money.
That's true. Yeah, that might bring in more people, but I feel like if we take more people here, it's gonna bring people out somewhere else.
Yes.
That's also things to consider too. And also, I guess we can now move on to the consequences, you could say, of the casino or gambling. So pretty much, one of the biggest consequences, not consequences, but the things that people bring up against them,
arguments against.
Yeah, arguments against the casinos, is that one of them is being like that it takes like the money from like the Texas Lotto or other gamblers that are legal. It's kind of like a competition,
Yeah. Who's gonna bring in more money?
Yeah. But I feel like
especially with private owned, with the Las Vegas Sands.
It's the Las Vegas Sands.
Yeah, with them being a private company versus the Texas Lotto being owned by the government. Is money gonna come right into the lotto? Or
it's a good argument too.
Yes.
How the casino's gonna be run? If it's gonna be state run or like you said privately owned. It's privately owned, it's gonna be more people wanting to get their investment back. But if it's a state run, it's going to be more money brought into the
state.
But it's also more of a more like distraction. I guess you have to build like a whole infrastructure based around like an agency that runs it. Yeah.
But because also you don't want it being like the DMV state owned, and then you got to take all the time.
Yeah. That's a good point. So you're pretty much talking about how it might, distract, take away customers from the Texas Lotto. But I feel like since people who buy Texas Lotto, it's more of a convenience thing. Since when you go to the gas station, it's right
it's
there.
It's like the thrill if you're gonna win or not.
Yeah. You have extra $5 in your wallet, you spend it on there. When it comes to casino, it's more like a trip plan thing.
Yeah. Like we're gonna have $1,000 spend. We'll see if we win. Well, it's also like you have to carry the ideology of you're not gonna win. It's just play fun.
Yeah.
You might win, you might lose the money. It's just up to how you play.
It's pretty much related to like the consumption of alcohol and how that's legalized, but there are also people who abuse alcohol, overdrink, get drunk, and it's pretty much up to the individual. I guess pretty much too. If we allow gambling, you also build infrastructure, to it's like Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
Kind of much, gambling.
Well, just also Gamblers Anonymous.
Yeah. So help prevent people from addiction, because that is a concern that a lot of people have. That lawmakers have when it comes to, should we allow gambling or should we keep it the way it is, not allow it? Because
it's a problem.
Addiction is a problem when it comes to gambling. You got any comments to add on to it right now? Well, when it comes to the consequences, do you have any consequences that you think of when it comes to gambling?
And just the environment's my main concern.
Environments,
because the electricity is going to draw.
That's another. I mean, you can think about it furthermore. How it's going to take away. If it's empty land, it's going to affect, like we were talking about, affect the city. It's also going to affect the natural environment.
Yeah. Especially if there's like endangered species living there, they're going to leave the area.
Yeah.
Also, I have another concern is like, what if other states look at Texas and be like, oh look, they illegalize gambling in their state. They start building casinos in their states. People aren't going to come to the casinos in Texas as much anymore. And so with that, the casino business in Texas especially is not going to thrive as much as before. It's going to come down, and it's going to end up like Detroit, where GM left Detroit. You seen the state it went into decay. Those houses on there for rent for $1 because how run down they were, unlivable. Yeah,
that's a really good point. I really like how the point you made. Yeah, how if one state does it, then everybody's gonna follow it. Monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. Where if there is an influx of competition throughout each state, then there might be a decline in like each casinos, and if the casinos have a set amount of revenue they have to meet in order to stay afloat, they might have to close down, which might leave like I said, empty cities. Which can't really thrive without the success of the casinos.
crime in the city.
Bruce crime, yeah. So that I feel like that's one of the main reasons why it's pretty much a hard decision. It should allow casinos because it's the consequences versus the benefits. It's pretty 50-50. Okay. And pretty much another consequence, how we stated earlier, is the influx of traffic.
Traffic, noise pollution, especially.
Noise pollution, that's true. That's true. Because already the way it is in the infrastructure, Texas, sometimes the traffic is already long the way it is.
Yeah.
So imagine to build another casino, it might increase traffic.
Can't even get I-35 done now. It's nice yet.
Yeah. So yeah.
Especially with. Especially if we're gonna build it in a lesser developed part, how are we gonna get the resources out there? There's like lesser roads.
Yeah, so it's really an infrastructure thing that the government has to realize too, analyze, like the local governments especially too, since it's going to impact them. Have to build the infrastructure. Improve the roads, the highways, probably airports too if it's somewhere out.
Yeah. That's true, because most airports are in DFW, right?
The DFW area. There's some throughout in the Houston area.
Yeah.
But think about it. If it's somewhere rural or somewhere
in the middle of nowhere,
yeah, it's gonna be the infrastructure. It's also pretty much like we're saying. It's pretty much a 50-50. So the improvements is that it's going to grow the local economy of it. If the thing thrives, if the casino is able to fluctuate, then it's able to generate revenue, which will improve the condition of the city. Bring in jobs, bring in money, tourists. Increase
lower taxes for everyone.
Lower taxes too, and but if the thing, like I said, and the increased competition of it too, casinos going to compete for one another. So they might have casinos that pop up, so thrive for a couple of years, but then after a couple of years, due to competition, they might have to close down.
Yeah, and also if they fully legalize gambling, then people for example, like we stated earlier, the gas station slot machines, they're just gonna put like more of them in the gas stations. People won't have to travel as far to go to casinos. Because instead of going to the big casino, we just go to our local gas station.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
That's true. And also, like, think about it like this: if it's like a local, like a privately owned casino, it might also how do I say, like the money people might spend on one thing, like on, let's say, like on other industries, another things, it will go towards the casino industry, which will derive, taking money from somewhere else and put it into the casinos. Some money can be used in other industries.
There's also the question of what if people start money laundering through the casinos?
That's one of the it kind of relates to the crime and the corruption that it kind of correlates to the casinos kind of in Nevada. Money laundering, yeah.
Yeah, because one can just easily launder the money through counting cards, playing blackjack. Do you know anything about counting cards?
I heard about it. Yeah,
the MIT blackjack team. Have you heard?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yes,
but I don't think that's mainly a concern. That how it relates to the government. I feel like when it comes to the government should ultimately think about how it's going to affect the citizens and how it's
the average citizen.
The average citizen, But yeah, like I said, like we were talking about earlier, in order for like it to be pretty much, in order for the casinos to be involved, it has to go through the House of Representatives and the Senate. They have to create the law, and then they have to agree upon the law, create it, and then it's up to the governor to pass the law, sign it, or he can veto it too. But
I don't think he would be on board with it.
Why do you think Greg Abbott will be on board with it?
I don't know. I feel like Greg Abbott, he's been against a couple things. Yeah, because I feel like some people were like, because with the high speed rail as well, he was on board with it. But then some people were like, I don't want to get my land taken away. And then he was like, I don't know anymore. And then I feel like that's gonna happen over there because some person with 120 acres is gonna be mad that they're gonna take 40, and then he's gonna change sides.
I mean, either way, yeah. It's so kind of pretty much like you say, like take Atlanta. I feel like it depends pretty much if it's gonna be privately or like government owned the casino. Because if it's government owned, they're gonna have to take the land for somebody.
They have to pay him.
Yeah. No, also, I feel like Greg Abbott, the governor we have right now, he's like a more conservative.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't really know if you have like a pro gambling agenda. Yeah. because right now they're trying to pass the law where it's like against abortion.
Against abortion.
Yeah.
And
Preventing abortion.
Another one that he did here, like the Chick-fil-A Act. Have you heard about that?
Chick-fil-A Act. It's like this, but
Like they can have Chick-fil-A's in airports, something like that. Have you heard about that?
yeah, this is.
Yeah, I feel like it was a waste of time.
A waste of time. Yeah.
Yeah, big deal.
Mhm.
Made a big deal when it wasn't.
Yeah. So now I think we're pretty much close to discussion. And do you have any questions? Like
No, not really.
not really.
No.
So what have you learned throughout the video, like the present, like our discussion?
The pros and cons of what gambling,
Uh-huh.
pro gambling laws to the state of Texas will do.
But yeah, so you have any questions how it relates to the government, how like the process is pretty much how it would be to enact. Yeah.
My main concern is like, how do I put this? How do I put this? Is if we build the casino over in like West Texas, especially like I was saying, it was more desert-ish. How do we like prevent it from sinking in? Because it's like mostly desert. That's it. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like that's pretty much like a different type of question. Like it's pretty much the casino.
Regarding the infrastructure.
Yeah,
like
they have to consider geographical like factors. They probably will build it. Since we have a lot of land right now in Texas, they can build it pretty much anywhere. So I feel like right now it would probably be better for them to build it like not too far from a major city. Just like the amount of infrastructure you have to build it if it's somewhere.
And also, it's like, what if the areas around it don't boom as we expect it to? Like, take Lubbock, for example. It's where it's a college town, but you go 40 miles any direction. There's no big city nearby. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's
That's
just
a good point.
You go in the middle, you just hit it for it. It's a big old city. Rest is just rural.
That's a good point. Good point. Let's see. So, do you think it's possible for casinos to thrive, for casinos to be, legalized?
I feel as if especially with the way Texas is heading, it's gonna go in a more democratic way. So I feel like in the more recent years, like give it 4 to 8 years, and we will have casinos in construction.
Democratic, yeah.
Because I feel like with the state Texas is in, we will, but see, because Texas is in a limbo right now because we don't know if it's gonna change sides or not. I personally I don't think it's gonna switch sides for another like 10 years because of like the boom of teenagers, especially trying to get into the oil fields, make quick money. You know what I mean? Yeah. With the promise of becoming rich.
Yeah, so Texas, it's always been like a red state for the longest, and pretty much like you're saying, it's pretty much the statewide,
with the statewide of teenagers, like especially male teenagers, trying to get into labor jobs, high paying, such as welders, electricians that pay well.
Yeah, but I don't see how that relates to the casinos.
Because more conservatives don't want to push the casinos because of the religious belief.
That's true. Religion. It's a red state conservative. Christianity is like a.
We're in the middle of the Bible Belt.
Bible Belt. That's good. That's a good point too. Religion is also a big.
Big factor in Texas.
Yeah. Even when it comes to abortion.
Especially.
So if anti-gambling believes, it's gonna be like a strong, social, people are gonna be against it, which is something.
Especially Christianity has been a big factor about the United States as a whole.
Yeah.
In God we trust, on the coins, on dollar bills on the back.
Especially in Texas too.
Yeah.
The more than the pretty much conservative beliefs of if gambling, it should be allowed, but. The benefits, I guess we said throughout the video is that how it's gonna be improved revenue for the state, which can be providing to help the communities out, and also the infrastructure, bring in jobs, business opportunities for a lot of people. But, the negatives also would be
crime, traffic,
and the addiction. You know that might be related to the gambling as well. So pretty much, yeah, what we learned throughout this video, what we learned throughout the research and the video is that pretty much, gambling is always going to be a controversial topic,
Yes.
and it's always the benefits and the negatives of it, and it also weighs down on if you're willing to risk one for the other.
Yes, especially.
So now, what do you think you believe? Where would you place your idea? Should it be established or not be?
I still believe it should be
It
established.
should. I agree with you too. It's an idea. I believe that it should because
I believe it just lost revenue. We could
Yeah,
help a
lost
lot of
revenue.
communities out, especially lower income ones. We could use the money from the casinos, put it into lower incomes to help them thrive.
Yeah, for that's a good point. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much the increase of revenue instead of taking it out, bringing it back in. So pretty much, I feel like that's pretty much wraps up our video, our presentation about it. So Devin, I really thank you for your time, and I hope you was able to like our video and learn something from what we talked about. When pretty much you came up with something too, like your own idea of gambling. So thank you for your time and have a nice day.